It was an ordinary morning in a hospital, but who could imagine that the lives of so many people would change in an instant? As the doctors prepared for another day at work, a 10-year-old girl walked into the institution holding a newborn in her arms. What could lead such a young child to this situation? Curiosity immediately took hold of everyone, and the story that would unfold promised to be filled with deep emotions and impactful revelations. Anna, the girl, looked visibly scared. Her eyes conveyed a mix of despair and determination. She knew she had to protect little Miguel, the baby she held so carefully. As the medical team approached, trying to understand what was happening, Anna hesitated but soon revealed that Miguel was her brother, a fact that left everyone perplexed. The story behind that arrival was not just about a birth, but a struggle for survival. As the doctors tried to unravel the mysteries surrounding Anna and Miguel, shocking revelations began to emerge. What initially seemed to be a story of an ordinary day turned into a narrative about abuse and neglect. Anna, despite her tender age, had faced challenges that most children would never even imagine. Her resilience was admirable, and the urgency in her voice echoed the need for a better future for herself and Miguel. The hospital became a space where pain and hope coexisted. That dream was what motivated her to keep fighting, even when hope seemed distant. Amid the chaos, some interactions with the healthcare professionals showed the girl's strong and gentle character. When a nurse crouched down to ask how she was doing, Anna, despite her fear, answered with a shy smile, showing that even amidst pain, there was still room for kindness. Days passed, and the revelations about Anna's past became clearer. Healthcare professionals and social workers joined forces, determined to ensure that those two little ones had a new chance at life. It was a battle against time and circumstances, a fight for the innocence of a child and the protection of a newborn. Every gesture of care and every word of support were like small lights in the darkness. Anna dreamed of a safe home, far from the violence that surrounded her. She envisioned a place where she could play, study, and simply be a child. Each conversation with the social workers brought painful memories to the surface, but also the strength she had to overcome it all. The love she felt for Miguel was palpable, and she was willing to do whatever it took to protect him. The hospital was not just a place of physical healing, but also a space where emotional scars could begin to heal. In the midst of this journey of overcoming, the story of Anna and Miguel became a powerful reminder that even in the most challenging situations, hope and compassion can prevail. The healthcare professionals, touched by the girl's courage, found themselves increasingly motivated to fight for a better future for those little ones. In the end, the story was not just about pain, but about the strength of collective care and how a simple gesture can mobilize the best of humanity. The hospital, although a place of healing, was immersed in an atmosphere of uncertainty. Anna, the 10-year-old girl, felt the weight of responsibility on her small shoulders. Miguel, her newborn brother, seemed so vulnerable in her arms, and she couldn't help but think about what might happen to him if they couldn't find a safe home. With every look she received from the doctors and social workers, Anna felt a mix of hope and fear. Hope that they could help her, and fear that once again someone might take her away from Miguel. As the care team began to gather around them, one of the doctors, Dr. Lucas, stood out. He had a gentle and welcoming demeanor, and his voice was always calm and reassuring. "Hi, Anna. Are you feeling okay?" he asked, crouching to be at the girl's level. Anna's expression softened a bit, but at the same time, the fear of revealing too much left her hesitant. I just want Miguel to be okay," she replied, her voice trembling. Dr. Lucas noticed the concern in her eyes and decided he needed to create a safe space for Anna to open up. We're going to take care of him. You can rest assured. Are you okay too? What happened before you got here? The question made her hesitate. Painful memories began to invade her mind. The chaotic environment at home, the constant fighting, and the feeling that amid all of this, she was the only one who really cared about Miguel. It was very noisy. My mum wasn't well, and I just wanted to protect Miguel, she finally said, the words coming out in a whisper. As Anna spoke, a social worker named Juliana approached, listening intently. Juliana had a huge heart and always sought to understand the emotional side of every child she assisted. Anna, you are very brave for bringing Miguel here. You did the right thing, she commented, trying to encourage her. But the girl just lowered her head, feeling small in the face of the situation. Juliana realized that there was still a lot of insecurity in Anna. I know you might be scared right now, but we're here to help. What would you like to happen next? Juliana asked softly. Anna looked at the floor, thinking. What did she really want? A home? A place where she didn't have to worry about noise or fighting? A place where she could just be a child? I just want Miguel to be safe and that I can stay with him, Anna replied, her voice choked. Her response resonated deeply with Juliana, who knew that the bond between siblings was something sacred. Time passed, and Anna felt the pressure mounting. Everyone around her seemed to want to help, but at the same time, there was something inside her that fought against the idea that anyone could truly understand the depth of her pain. The fear of losing Miguel consumed her. What if, after everything, she wasn't able to take care of him? What if life separated her from him, as it had so many times before? During one of her conversations with Juliana, Anna began to open her heart a little more. Sometimes, I feel like I'm the only one who cares about him. My mum? She doesn't seem to care, Anna said, tears streaming down her face. Juliana, noticing the girl's vulnerability, sat down beside her and held her hand. You are important, Anna, and your love for Miguel is very strong. We will do whatever it takes to keep you together. As Anna listened to those words, she felt a mix of gratitude and doubt. Could she trust that they would really do that? What if, in the end, everything she held most precious was taken from her? The uncertainty consumed her, and she wondered if she could bear another disappointment. The following days in the hospital were a whirlwind of emotions. Anna met other professionals who became an unexpected support. There was also a nurse named Lucia who always brought small toys for Miguel and talked to Anna about simple things in life, like playing in the park or riding a bike. These interactions, though joyful, also reminded her of what she didn't have and what she wished she could experience. One afternoon, while Lucia was with Miguel, Anna approached. Do you think I'll ever be able to have a normal life, like other kids? She asked, hope mixed with fear. Lucia looked into Anna's eyes and replied, Life can be tough sometimes, but you are strong. And I believe that with time, you will find your way. Never forget that you are not alone. Those words were like a light in the darkness, but Anna still struggled with her own doubts. Insecurity followed her, and with each passing day, the pressure to be strong seemed to grow. She wanted to believe she could be the sister Miguel needed, but what if she couldn't? What if everything fell apart again? Anna's interactions with the healthcare professionals began to reflect her internal struggle. Though she wanted to open up and trust, there was always a voice in her mind that made her hesitate. The fear of failing paralyzed her, and in moments of solitude, she wondered if she was truly capable of becoming the protector Miguel deserved. As the days dragged on, The uncertainty about the future consumed her. With each visit from the doctors, she felt more anxious. Although Dr. Lucas and Juliana tried to calm her, Anna felt their words were like a thin layer of ice that could crack at any moment. The fear of losing Miguel accompanied her, and she couldn't shake the feeling that the world around her was crumbling. On a particularly difficult afternoon, a new doctor arrived. Doctor, Anna and Miguel's story was just beginning, but the challenges and doubts surrounding the girl were complex and deep. Each day brought new uncertainties, and she found herself on a path full of twists and turns. Amidst all this, the love she felt for Miguel was the only thing that seemed constant, and she knew that no matter what happened, she would do everything to keep him safe in her arms. The atmosphere in the hospital became increasingly heavy for Anna. Almeida had a rigid posture and a gaze that seemed to evaluate everything around him. Anna didn't like him from the first moment. He approached her and watched her for a while, as if trying to decipher a puzzle. "We need to discuss Miguel's future," he said bluntly. That sentence made Anna's heart race. What did he mean by that? Juliana, sensing the tension, quickly intervened. "Let's talk in a more private place, Dr. Almeida," she suggested, trying to ease the situation. But Anna was already overtaken by panic. What if they decided she wasn't capable of taking care of Miguel? The thought of being separated from him made her feel a knot in her stomach. As Juliana and Dr. Almeida stepped away to discuss, Anna began to reflect on her life. The image of her mother, lost in her own battles, filled her mind. What would she have done if she were there? Would she have fought for Miguel or abandoned him like she had with so many other things? That doubt gnawed at her. With each moment, she wondered if she really had what it took to protect her brother. That night, while Miguel slept peacefully in his crib, Anna couldn't close her eyes. The silence of the hospital was deafening. She got up and walked to the window, watching the city lights flickering in the distance. What was outside? A world where children played, where there was safety and love. A part of her wanted to join that reality, but the other part was trapped in a cycle of fear and distrust. The next morning brought a new challenge. Dr. Almeida made a visit to discuss Miguel's care plan. He explained that due to their situation, it was essential to assess whether Anna could continue to be responsible for him. Her heart sank. How could she demonstrate that she was capable when each day was a struggle? What if they decided she wasn't enough, she thought, the uncertainty swallowing her. Juliana noticed the change in Anna's expression and crouched down beside her.
"Anna, you have to believe in yourself. You are an amazing sister, and the love you have for Miguel is powerful. Don't let fear stop you from showing that," she said. But even so, Juliana's words could not erase the shadow of doubt that loomed over Anna. The days turned into a cycle of evaluations and interviews. Each conversation with the social workers felt like a new mountain to climb. Anna felt that her weaknesses were exposed, and the idea of failing left her distressed.
In a moment of desperation, she wondered if she should give up. What if, in trying to be strong, she was only putting Miguel in danger? That doubt haunted her day and night. One afternoon, a nurse named Lucia found Anna sitting alone in a waiting room. Anna's expression was dark, and Lucia, noticing the girl's emotional state, sat down next to her. "Do you want to tell me what's going on?" Lucia asked, with a gentle look. The simple question made Anna burst into restrained tears. "I just want Miguel to stay with me, but I don't know if I'm good enough," she confessed, tears streaming down her face. Lucia took a moment to respond. Anna, being good enough doesn't mean you have to be perfect. We all make mistakes. What matters is that you love your brother and are doing your best. That conversation made Anna reflect on what really mattered. She didn't need to be perfect. She just needed to be present and love Miguel as best as she could. But weeks passed, and despite Anna's attempts to prove her worth, the challenges only grew. A new social worker named Carla entered the situation and brought a new perspective. Carla was strict and didn't hesitate to point out Anna's weaknesses. You need to show that you are capable of taking care of Miguel in all situations, not just when you feel good, she said in a meeting. That hit Anna like a punch in the stomach. What could she do if life always felt like a battlefield? As she struggled against these expectations, Anna began to withdraw, isolating herself from the interactions that once gave her hope. She no longer wanted to hear promises that everything would be okay, because uncertainty had become her reality. In a moment of desperation, she decided that if life was about to take Miguel away from her, she could not sit and wait. One night, with a heavy heart, Anna decided she needed to do something drastic. She headed to the ward where Miguel was sleeping. Looking at his face, so serene, an idea came to her mind. What if we ran away? What if we could find a safe place where no one could separate us? The thought haunted her, but it also drew her in. She knew she couldn't just run away, but the idea of a safe home still pursued her. The next morning, when the professionals arrived, Anna prepared for an honest conversation. She sat down with Juliana and Dr. Almeida and, with a trembling voice, expressed her fears. I don't want them to take me away from Miguel. I just want to take care of him. I am strong enough for that, even if it doesn't seem like it, Anna declared, her determination beginning to shine through her tears. That was a turning point. The act of opening up, of facing her fear, finally seemed to give Anna a little of the strength she needed. The struggle was not over, but Anna felt that at least she was starting to understand that true strength came from her vulnerability. And even though there were dark days ahead, she was willing to fight for the love she had for Miguel, one day at a time. Anna sat in the chair next to Miguel's bed, watching her brother sleep peacefully. The environment was quiet, except for the soft sound of the heart monitor in the background. At that moment, she felt closer to him than ever, but also further away from herself. The pressure of the previous days weighed on her shoulders, and the expectation of being evaluated again made her nervous. What would Dr. Almeida and Carla think about her ability to care for Miguel? The next morning, after a night of insomnia, Anna decided she needed to be honest about her fears. When she entered the room where they would meet, her heart raced. She looked at Juliana, who greeted her with an encouraging smile, and then at Dr. Almeida and Carla, who waited with serious expressions. Anna took a deep breath, feeling the words build up in her throat. I just want to take care of Miguel, Anna began, her voice trembling. I know I fail sometimes, but I'm not the only one who makes mistakes. We all have our bad days, and I'm trying to be the best sister I can be. I don't want them to take him away from me. I don't want to lose the only thing that makes me feel alive. Tears began to stream down her face, and the vulnerability that once frightened her now set her free. Dr. Almeida watched her with a neutral expression, but Carla leaned forward, her eyes fixed on Anna. I understand that you're feeling pressured, but the question is, do you feel capable of taking care of him in all situations, even when things get tough? The question hit her hard. Anna wasn't sure. The memory of the nights when she felt overwhelmed, the feeling of not being enough, all flooded her mind. But there was something different about this conversation. She realized that although she was facing an enormous challenge, she had the strength and determination necessary to fight. I don't know if I'm perfect," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "But I can try. For Miguel, I will try. He is all I have." Juliana, hearing this, smiled and encouraged Anna with a supportive gesture. "That's it, Anna. What matters is the love you have for him. We don't need to be perfect to be good caregivers." The conversation continued, and Anna opened up about the difficulties she faced. She talked about the sleepless nights, the fear of failing, and how the pressure made her feel small. Each word seemed to lift a weight from her heart. She realized that she was not alone in this struggle, that there were people who cared and wanted to help her. Dr. Almeida, for his part, began to show a more human side. "Look, Anna, we all have moments of doubt. The issue is how we deal with it. When you feel weak, it's important to remember that strength is not the absence of fear, but the ability to face it." These words resonated deeply with Anna. She began to reflect on her life and her experiences. For a long time, she had clung to the idea that she needed to be perfect, that she should have everything under control. But now, by confronting her mistakes and insecurities, she realized that true strength lay in accepting her limitations and allowing herself to be vulnerable. The love she felt for Miguel was more powerful than any fear that could paralyze her. In that meeting, Anna felt a wave of relief. It was as if the pressure that had been oppressing her was dissipating, giving way to a new determination. She was not perfect, but she was willing to try, to fight for Miguel. And, more importantly, she was learning that being strong did not mean not feeling pain, but rather being able to move forward despite it. After the meeting, Carla approached Anna and said, "I see a change in you. Don't forget that this journey is about growth and learning. It's normal to have doubts, but what matters is how you react to them." That validation made Anna feel more secure, as if she were finally on the right path. From that day on, Anna decided she would not let fear dominate her life. She began to engage more in Miguel's care activities, asking for help and learning from the nurses and social workers. Each small step she took, each new skill she learned, made her feel more confident and capable. The love she nurtured for Miguel became a driving force, and the idea that she could be a good sister began to take shape. Anna also started to look at difficulties not as barriers, but as opportunities for growth. She began to reflect on her childhood and what she had learned from her mother. Her mother's struggle did not define her. On the contrary, it served as an example of resilience. Anna realized that regardless of the challenges, the love and desire to care for Miguel were stronger. This shift in perspective helped her see that true wealth lay in her relationships and her capacity to love, not in being perfect. The road ahead would still be long and full of challenges, but Anna felt renewed. She was not just fighting for custody of Miguel, she was fighting for her own identity and what it truly meant to be a sister. As hope began to blossom within her, Anna knew that no matter what happened, she would face the future with courage and love. She was determined to win, not just for Miguel, but for herself. Anna sat on the edge of Miguel's bed, watching him sleep and trying to organize the thoughts that felt like a storm in her mind. After the meeting with Dr. Almeida and Carla, a new wave of doubts washed over her. The relief she felt when opening her heart was now mixed with anxiety and uncertainty. What if she failed again? The fear of not being enough always seemed to lurk, ready to attack her when she least expected it. In the following days, Anna began to get more involved in Miguel's care routine. She watched the nurses closely, absorbing every detail about how to administer medications and how to handle the machines surrounding him. However, with each advance, new insecurities arose. One night, while trying to change the bedsheet, she got tangled up with the tubes connecting Miguel to the machines. Her heart raced when she realized she might have caused a problem. Panic enveloped her, and she felt paralyzed. "Calm down, Anna," she murmured to herself, remembering Carla's words. Mistakes are part of learning. But still, guilt set in. Miguel did not deserve to have such a flawed sister, she thought. Deep down, she knew she was not being fair to herself, but the self-criticism continued to echo in her mind. That same night, Anna decided to talk to Juliana. Her friend always had a way of making things seem clearer. When they met, Anna couldn't hold back her tears. "I feel like I'm always doing something wrong. Every little mistake feels like a mountain, and I'm too small to climb it." Juliana listened attentively, her expression reflecting empathy. "You need to remember that caring for Miguel is a process. No one learns to do this overnight. And, more importantly, you are trying. That is already a big step." Juliana's words acted like a balm. Anna realized she was punishing herself for being human. The idea that perfection was the only form of love trapped her in a vicious cycle. And as she talked with Juliana, the pressure began to dissipate again. Anna realized that although there were challenges ahead, she was not alone. There were people around her willing to support her, and that was a comfort. As the weeks went by, Anna allowed herself to explore her emotions more deeply. She began to write in a journal, a safe space where she could pour out her fears and hopes. On one of the pages, she wrote, "I am learning that I don't need to be perfect to be a good sister. Every mistake is an opportunity to grow, and every day is a chance to love a little more." Writing became a form of therapy, and slowly, Anna found a new way to cope with her emotions. She used her words to better understand herself and her relationship with Miguel. Reflecting on the past, she remembered moments when she felt incapable, but also moments when her strength shone. Those small triumphs encouraged her to keep going. However, the pressure did not disappear completely. One afternoon, while preparing for a routine visit to the doctor, Anna found herself looking in the mirror. The reflection showed a young woman who appeared older than she really was. The dark circles under her eyes and her tired expression reminded her that the struggle was far from over. She thought to herself, "I can't keep going like this," realizing that she needed to find a balance between her responsibilities and her own well-being. During the appointment, Dr. Almeida noticed the change in Anna's behavior. She was more open, more willing to discuss her feelings. "I see that you have been reflecting on your journey," he commented while examining Miguel. "This is important. Care is not just physical, it is also emotional." Anna nodded, feeling validated. "I'm trying to learn to take care of myself too, but I still feel insecure." "It's normal," replied Dr. Almeida, "but remember, taking care of yourself is an essential part of taking care of Miguel. You can't give what you don't have." This wisdom echoed in Anna's mind, and she began to wonder how she could incorporate this idea into her life. Over time, Anna started looking for small ways to practice self-care. A walk in the park, a book that transported her to another reality, even moments of silence where she simply breathed and allowed herself to feel. These practices began to bring a new balance to her life. She noticed that by taking care of herself, her ability to care for Miguel increased. The pressure that once crushed her now transformed into a source of motivation. The changes did not go unnoticed by Miguel. Although he was in a state that limited communication, Anna realized that he seemed more relaxed and connected when she was present. It was as if, in some way, he felt her transformation. This connection made her realize that the love they shared transcended words and difficult moments. Together, Anna and Juliana continued to explore this new phase. The support of her friend became even more significant, and together they discovered creative ways to spend time. Sometimes Juliana brought books to read aloud to Miguel, and Anna joined her, laughing and sharing stories that made the atmosphere feel lighter. Anna's journey was far from easy, but she began to understand that life was a series of ups and downs, and that each challenge was an opportunity for growth. Her love for Miguel drove her, but now she was also learning to love herself. And that, in itself, was a big step toward becoming the sister she always wanted to be. Anna sat by Miguel's bed, watching him breathe softly, a phenomenon that now seemed so precious and fragile. As the days went by, her routine became more intense, but at the same time, more enriching. She began to notice how each small act of care transformed into a moment of connection between them. Even if Miguel was silent, she felt that love flowed between them like an invisible current. The mornings were devoted to learning about medical care, and Anna worked hard to memorize every detail. On one of those days, while trying to organize the medications on the bedside table, she remembered a phrase that Juliana had said, "You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be yourself." That phrase made her smile, and she felt a little lighter. However, not everything was smooth sailing. One night, while adjusting the tubes connecting Miguel to the machines, one of them came loose, causing a loud and desperate beep to echo through the room. Her heart raced, and a chill ran down her spine. The feeling that she could fail again paralyzed her. With trembling hands, she quickly called the nurse, who arrived in seconds and promptly resolved the issue. "Anna, calm down. These things happen," the nurse said with an understanding smile. "Remember, you are learning. Don't blame yourself for this." Her words echoed in Anna's mind, but the guilt was still hard to shake off. That same week, Anna decided she needed a break, even if it was brief. She remembered one of the conversations she had with Juliana, where her friend encouraged her to seek moments for herself. Keeping that in mind, she decided she would go to the park, even if just for half an hour. On that sunny day, as she walked among the trees, she felt the gentle breeze caress her face. Nature seemed to whisper that everything was okay. Anna decided to stop and sit on a bench. Looking up at the sky, she allowed herself to dream a little. "What do I really want?" she thought. That question led her to reflect on what it meant to be a good sister. It wasn't just about taking care of Miguel, but also about taking care of herself. Realizing this, a feeling of relief enveloped her. She didn't have to carry all the weight alone. She could seek help and still be a loving sister. When she returned home, she found Juliana waiting for her. "You seem different," her friend commented with a sparkle in her eyes. "What happened?" "I realized I can't be perfect, but I can strive to be the best version of myself," Anna replied with a shy smile. "And that includes taking care of myself." Juliana smiled, proud of her friend. "That's so important, Anna. Taking care of yourself is also an act of love for Miguel. You can't give what you don't have." Those words reverberated in Anna. She began to understand that her journey was not just about taking care of Miguel, but also about allowing herself to be vulnerable and recognizing her own needs. Over time, Anna incorporated small self-care rituals into her routine. Sometimes she would wake up a little earlier to make a cup of tea and sit on the porch, enjoying the morning silence. Other times, she would allow herself to read a chapter of a book that transported her to another reality. These little breaks became not only moments of rest, but also opportunities to reflect on her emotions. One day, while she was with Miguel, she started telling stories from her childhood, recalling the fun moments they had together. "Remember that time we tried to bake a cake and almost burned the house?" Ana laughed as she spoke, and, to her surprise, Miguel seemed to react. He moved his fingers as if he were trying to connect in some way. Her heart filled with hope. That same week, during a consultation with Dr. Almeida, Ana felt more confident. "I have been trying to take care of myself, doctor," she said, with a sparkle in her eye. "I think I'm starting to understand that it's not just about Miguel, but also about me." Dr. Almeida smiled, satisfied. "That is crucial, Ana. You are learning to balance your responsibilities, and this, in turn, will benefit Miguel. When you are well, everyone around you benefits." With each conversation with Juliana, each moment of self-care, and each interaction with Miguel, Ana felt stronger. She began to see her flaws not as barriers but as steps in her journey. Every mistake she made was a lesson that took her to a new level of understanding and empathy. And slowly, she began to free herself from the idea that she needed to be perfect. The interactions with Miguel became increasingly meaningful. She realized that even in her moments of weakness, there was a strength guiding her. Her friendship with Juliana also solidified, and together they created a safe space where they could share their insecurities and victories. This united them in a way that Ana never expected, showing her that sometimes the most unexpected friendships can become the most valuable. Ana's journey was far from over, but with each passing day, she felt more confident. She learned that true success was not just in being a perfect sister, but in being a sister who allowed herself to be human. And with that, she finally began to understand that taking care of herself was, in fact, the greatest form of love she could give to Miguel. That night, Ana was sitting at Miguel's bedside, her eyes fixed on the machines, monitoring his vital signs. The silence was heavy, and the rhythmic beep seemed to echo in her mind, reminding her of the fragility of life. Since the care routine had begun, she felt like her life had become an emotional roller coaster, full of ups and downs. But that night, a new kind of tension hung in the air, like a storm about to break. Miguel began to show a new complication. The monitor next to the bed started emitting a sharp and constant beep, and Ana felt her heart race. She, who had worked so hard to learn everything about Miguel's care, felt insecurity take over her. What would she do if something more serious happened? Fear paralyzed her, and she remembered the night when one of the tubes came loose. The guilt from that day still haunted her. She took a deep breath, trying to calm herself. She remembered the nurse's words, "You are learning. Don't blame yourself for that." But now the situation seemed different. With trembling hands, she picked up the phone and called the nurse. Time seemed to drag as the call connected, and while she waited, a whirlwind of thoughts flooded her mind. What if I can't do it? What if I lose Miguel? Soon the nurse arrived, and Ana felt a mix of relief and anxiety. "What is happening?" the nurse asked, quickly assessing the monitor. Ana explained, her voice trembling. The nurse quickly positioned herself, adjusting the machine's settings and examining Miguel with the precision of a surgeon. "He is stable, but we need to monitor him more closely. You did the right thing by calling," said the nurse, casting a reassuring glance. Ana felt a weight lift off her shoulders, but the truth was that the internal storm was still raging. Insecurity and fear did not easily fade away. That night, as she tried to sleep, Ana tossed and turned, unable to find peace. Memories of nights when Miguel was healthy haunted her. What would she do if she couldn't be the sister he needed? The idea of failing again left her distressed. What would happen to him if she couldn't rise to the task? The next morning, after a sleepless night, Anna decided she needed to face her fears. She couldn't let anxiety consume her. When she arrived at the hospital, she found Juliana waiting for her. "You look tired," her friend commented, concerned. "What happened? It was a tough night." "Miguel had a complication last night," Anna replied, her voice choked. "I'm really scared, Juliana. What happens if I can't take care of him?" Juliana pulled her to a more private corner where they could talk without interruptions. "Look, you have been doing your best. No one expects you to be perfect. And besides, you are not alone in this. I'm here to help you," Juliana said, placing her hand on Anna's shoulder. Her friend's words brought a small comfort, but Anna's internal struggle continued. She needed to make a decision. She could continue allowing fear to control her, or she could face her feelings and find a way to be strong, not just for Miguel, but for herself. As she headed to Miguel's room, Anna felt a wave of determination. Upon entering, she saw her brother, still connected to the machines, but more importantly, she saw the opportunity to connect with him in a way she hadn't yet done. With a shy smile, she approached and began to tell stories from her childhood again. "Do you remember that time we decided to camp in the backyard and ended up running inside because of a thunderstorm?" Anna laughed, her voice filled with emotion. She noticed that as she spoke, Miguel began to move his fingers again. It was small, but it was a sign. It was as if, in some way, he was listening. That connection, even amidst the chaos, brought new hope to Anna's heart. She realized that even in moments of uncertainty, there was still room for love and joy. That afternoon, as the hours passed, Anna decided she would face her fears head-on. She remembered the lessons she had learned along the way. Taking care of herself was just as important as taking care of Miguel. The desire to be a strong and loving sister didn't have to be a burden, but rather an opportunity for growth. With this new perspective in mind, she approached the doctor, Dr. Almeida, and shared her concerns and insecurities. "I want to do more, but I'm scared. How can I face this?" she asked, her voice steady. "Anna, strength doesn't come from the absence of fear, but from the courage to face it. You've already shown that you have this courage. Keep seeking support and allow yourself to feel." "That is part of the process," the doctor replied, with an encouraging look. Those words resonated with Anna. She realized that by allowing herself to be vulnerable, she was actually becoming stronger. With a new understanding, she decided she wouldn't give up. She would return to Miguel with a heart full of love and determination. That night, when she sat by Miguel's bedside, she felt a wave of emotion. He was there, and so was she. No matter what the future held, she was willing to face every challenge, not just as a sister, but as a woman who was finally accepting her own weaknesses and strengths. And as the stars shone outside, Anna felt that regardless of what happened, she had everything she needed within herself to move forward. That night, the atmosphere in Miguel's room was charged with emotion. Anna sat beside the bed, holding her brother's hand tightly. She felt that little by little, she was freeing herself from the weight of the fear that had accompanied her for so long. Miguel, even unconscious, seemed to be her greatest support. The idea that he might hear her words encouraged her to share more memories and stories, as if that created a bridge between them. Days went by, and Miguel's recovery began to show signs of improvement. The machines that once seemed threatening were now a continuous reminder of his struggle. Ana realized that by telling stories, she was not only helping Miguel, but also herself. Each tale of their childhood adventures brought forth laughter, memories, and above all, hope. However, the marks of the experience were still visible. Ana began to reflect on her limitations. She remembered how insecurity had once overwhelmed her, making her believe she was incapable of caring for her brother. But now, as she looked at Miguel, she saw a new beginning. Each day she felt stronger. The courage she thought she lacked was there, blossoming from the love she felt for him. Juliana continued to be a constant presence, always ready to support Ana. Their conversations became deeper. One afternoon, while they were having coffee in the hospital kitchen, Juliana remarked, "You've changed so much, Ana. I remember when you were so lost. Now you seem stronger, more confident." Ana smiled, recognizing the truth in her friend's words. "I realized that fear cannot dominate me, and that even with my flaws I can start over. Miguel needs me, and I want to be here for him. That makes me want to be better." The friendship between the two deepened, and Ana began to understand that Juliana's support was an essential part of her journey. She was not alone, and that was a relief. Being able to count on someone to share her worries and joys helped her see that relationships matter much more than she had imagined. As Miguel recovered, Ana began to apply the lessons she had learned. She started taking care of herself, setting aside moments for self-care. The practice of meditation and simple exercises helped her keep her mind clear and her heart light. She realized that caring for Miguel and for herself were not opposing tasks, but complementary. Dr. Almeida also noticed the transformation in Ana. He encouraged her to continue seeking support, reminding her that strength came from vulnerability. "You're becoming a leader in your own life, Ana." "That's admirable," he said during one of his daily visits. Those words echoed in her mind. Ana was not just a sister caring for Miguel, she was becoming a strong woman, capable of facing challenges and being an example of resilience. She began to realize that true success was not just about achieving goals, but about being able to face adversities with courage and love. The relationship with Miguel also grew stronger. He began to respond to stimuli more frequently, and each small reaction from him was celebrated as a victory. Ana felt grateful for every moment, not only for his recovery, but for the connection they were cultivating. The nights in the hospital, which had once been marked by uncertainty and fear, now became moments of sharing and love. Ana read stories aloud, and even though Miguel still couldn't speak, his eyes sparkled as he listened to his sister's words. It was as if each story was a thread that wove them together in a tapestry of love and hope. As time passed, Ana became more aware of her emotions. She learned to deal with sadness and joy in a way she hadn't before. The tears that often streamed down her face were now seen as part of the process. There were days when anxiety still visited her, but she had tools and friends to cope with it. And so, while Miguel continued on his path to recovery, Ana was also transforming. She understood that life was made up of ups and downs, losses and reunions. She couldn't control everything, but she had the power to choose how to react to each situation. The journey of caring for Miguel taught her about love, compassion, and the strength that resides within each of us. In those difficult days, Ana realized that life was full of complexities, but the beauty lay in how we face those challenges. She had become a woman who not only fought for Miguel, but also fought for herself. And looking out the hospital window, she saw the sun rise, bringing with it the promise of a new day, filled with possibilities and hope. Anna watched the horizon through the hospital window, with the sun slowly rising, bringing new light to her world. It was hard to believe that just a few months ago, she was lost in the darkness of anxiety and fear. Now she felt stronger, more capable. Miguel's recovery not only transformed him, but also transformed her. As she reflected on her journey, Anna realized how the experiences she had lived shaped her view of life. She looked back and saw the limitations that once paralyzed her. Fear had prevented her from acting, from believing she could be the sister Miguel needed, but now she knew that true strength resides in vulnerability. The pain and insecurity that once dominated her were replaced by a courage she never knew she had. And that inspired her. Miguel was home now, and the routine of recovery had been established. The days were filled with therapies, laughter, and much learning. Anna, always by his side, realized that each of Miguel's smiles was a victory. The small achievements were celebrated, not just by him, but by her as well. His joy became a source of strength for Anna, and she began to understand that even in failures, there was room to start again. With the support of Juliana and family, Anna began to expand her horizons. She decided she wanted to help others going through similar situations. The experiences she had with Miguel led her to enroll in a psychology course. She wanted to better understand how to help those who felt lost, just as she had felt before. The desire to make a difference in the lives of others became a new purpose that guided her. Anna also became more aware of the importance of relationships. The support from Juliana and her family was crucial in her recovery. She now understood that true success was not measured in material possessions, but in the connections she cultivated and the lives she touched. When she looked at Miguel, she saw a reflection of everything she had achieved: resilience, strength, and above all, love. Anna's transformation did not go unnoticed by those around her. She became a source of inspiration for friends, family, and even the healthcare professionals who accompanied her during Miguel's journey. Her determination she learned that opening up to others was not a sign of weakness, but rather an important step toward strength. The friendships she cultivated during this time became pillars in her life. Juliana was not just a friend, she became a sister of the heart, someone Anna could count on in difficult times and celebrate small victories with. Over time, Anna began to apply the life lessons she had learned. Unconditional love touched hearts, and many began to open up about their own struggles. Anna then realized that by sharing her experiences, she was helping others see their own strengths. With each new story she told, with each new friendship she cultivated, Anna felt more at peace with herself. She had found a balance in her life, a space where sadness and joy coexisted. She learned to honor her emotions, to accept the ups and downs of life as part of the process. With this, she became a woman who not only faced her challenges, but also embraced the journey of self-discovery. And so when looking out the hospital window and seeing the sun rise, Anna did not just see a new day, but a new life. She felt grateful for the experiences that shaped her and for the strength she had found within herself. The difficulties did not define her. On the contrary, they propelled her to become a more authentic version of herself. As Miguel continued to recover, Anna also moved forward. The future was uncertain, but now she had faith in her ability to face whatever came her way. With each step she took, she remembered that life was a series of new beginnings, of failures and successes, and that, in the end, what truly mattered was how she chose to live each moment. The journey was just beginning, and she was ready to embrace all that life had to offer, full of love, hope, and courage. Anna sat in the chair beside Miguel's bed, watching him as he slept peacefully. The sun had fully risen, and the soft light of the day illuminated the hospital room, reflecting the new phase of their lives. It was a moment that just a few months ago she had never imagined she would have. Their journey, marked by ups and downs, was now transforming into a new chapter, filled with hope and renewal. As she looked at her brother, Anna remembered her own struggles. The anxiety that once dominated her felt like a distant shadow now. She had learned to make space for her emotions, to accept them as part of her story. The fear that paralyzed her drove her to seek knowledge and understanding, not only for herself, but to help Miguel and others facing similar challenges. In that moment, Anna realized that every tear shed and every sleepless night had led her to a place of strength she never knew she possessed. Miguel's transformation inspired her to move forward. She knew that the path of recovery and self-discovery would continue, but now she was not afraid of what was to come. It was as if every small achievement of Miguel reflected in her, and she felt more confident each day. "You are doing so well, Miguel," she murmured as she stroked his hair. "We are in this together, always." The connection between the two grew stronger every day. Honest conversations, shared smiles, and moments of vulnerability became common. Anna remembered a special conversation they had one night when Miguel, with his weak voice, said, "Anna, I don't know how you managed to get through all this. You are so strong." In that moment, she felt seen and acknowledged. "But I didn't do this alone, Miguel. You are strong too." "We are a team," she replied, smiling. Anna's determination to help others became fuel for her own recovery. By enrolling in a psychology course, she was not only seeking a new purpose, but also a way to better understand the complexity of the human mind. Learning about others' emotions encouraged her to deal with her own. She began volunteering in support groups, sharing her story and listening to others. Each account touched her deeply, and she realized that everyone was on their own journeys of overcoming. Over time, she began to see life differently. Success, which had once been measured by material achievements, now manifested in the relationships she cultivated and the lives she touched. Anna remembered a lesson she had heard in one of the support groups. True success is making a difference in someone's life. And her life began to reflect this new perspective. She felt fulfilled not only by her personal achievements, but by her ability to inspire others to find their own strengths. In a moment of quiet, while watching the blue sky fade into orange hues at sunset, Anna reflected on everything she had learned. Life was not just about victories, but also about the lessons drawn from failures. If we don't have failures, how will we know what a fresh start is? She thought, smiling to herself. Each mistake, each stumble, had shaped her in a unique way. Accepting her vulnerabilities had made her stronger and more compassionate. The future was still an unknown, but Anna now saw uncertainty as an opportunity. The fear of failure gave way to curiosity about what could be achieved. With Miguel by her side, she felt ready to face any challenge life brought. "Let's go together, okay?" she said, holding his hand and smiling. Miguel nodded, and a spark of determination lit up his gaze. In this new chapter, Anna not only embraced her journey but also encouraged others to do the same. And so, with a light and hopeful heart, Anna prepared for the next adventure, ready to embrace life in all its fullness. She knew that everyone had their own battles, and by sharing her story, she hoped more people would find the courage to start anew. Life was a beautiful tapestry of experiences, and each thread, each color, contributed to the masterpiece that was her life. Thus, Anna left the hospital with a heart full of gratitude. She looked back, not with sadness, but with a deep acknowledgement of how much she had grown. Every step was necessary, she thought, and as she looked toward the horizon, she felt that the best was yet to come. Life, with all its challenges and joys, was a journey of self-discovery and love. She invited everyone to reflect on their own journeys and to share their stories. After all, every life is full of new beginnings, and each one can be an opportunity to learn and grow. Anna believed that by sharing, everyone could find support and strength. It was time to act, to open up, to allow herself to live fully.